So hi guys, welcome to Mixture and Alligation again. So what exactly we have done, you have gone through a lot of questions. So we are doing Mixture Alligation. Today again I am coming up with so many questions. So yes, we will discuss a lot of questions. And remember, like this is like we are doing like the arithmetic, entire arithmetic chapter for CAT. And do one thing also, like if you have not subscribed our channel, please subscribe. Please click the bell icon so you will get notified also with all the videos, latest videos we are, let's say, coming up with. And please like the video, please comment us like any kind of video you want me to shoot for you guys, or you want me to cover, so that also we can do. So please do comment and please do engage as well. So let's start with this thing. This is the part where we are starting. This part is obviously that is vessel contains 56 liters of mixture of milk and water. The ratio of milk to water is 3:4. And so this is like a very important question. If you can see like why it is important, because we need to understand this question, like very important it is. So we have to understand this type of question, because in this kind of question it is important that you should know like how exactly we go through this type of question. So here it is, a vessel contains 56 liters of mixture of milk and water. The ratio of milk to water is 3:4. 14 liters of mixture is taken out from that vessel and then 6 liters of water added to it. What will be the percentage? What will be the percentage of milk in the final mixture? Now think about it. If I'm removing something from a vessel, you need to understand one thing very clearly. So the remaining has no change in the percentage, right? So you have 80% of milk solution. Now if I'm removing 20 liter solutions out of, let's say, 100 liter solution, in the remaining 80 liter solution, there is no change of milk percentage. Because whenever you are removing something, you are removing the same amount, the same percentage of milk and same percentage of water. So that is the first thing. So while removing, there is no change in percentage. First thing you need to understand. So if I remove 40 liters, so 56 minus 14 kitna hota hai? 56 minus 14 is basically 42 liters remaining. Now 42 liters of mixture of milk and water is remaining, jahan pe 3:4 hai. And 14 liters of mixture is taken from the vessel, 6 liters of water is added to it. Now it is 3:4, right? So milk to water is 3:4. What is the milk proportion? So milk proportion has to be, has to be 3/3 plus 4, which is nothing but 3/7, right? So I have 3/7 in this 42 liter wala mixture mein, right? Now in the water wala mixture mein, it is how much? It is 0, right? And what is the ratio? The ratio, this is 42, and how much water you are adding? 6 liter of water. So why I'm taking 0? Because it is 0%. So like if I'm adding water, that means there is 0% milk is there. So here is like 0 is the milk, yahan pe 3/7 is the milk. Now what is the average of it? So you need to find the average. So I can start from here also. So the ratio is like what? 1:7, that is the ratio. You can see the ratio is this. So your answer should be 0 plus the difference, that is 3/7 is the difference. So the difference is 3/7 into 1 upon, like this is like 7 upon 7, 7 upon 1 plus 7, that is this one's proportion. That is 7 upon 8. So if you do this, you'll get, what is it? That is 3 upon 8. So in the resultant solution, the proportion of milk is 3 upon 8. You understood this? Because 0 is the initial quantity, right? The smaller quantity. Then let us say 3/7 is the difference. The difference is 3 upon 7. And the proportion of the higher quantity, or like higher value, is 7 upon 7 plus 1, which is 7 upon 8. So if this thing gets cancelled out, so this is 3/8. So what is 3/8? That is 12.5 is 1/8 is 12.5 percentage. Yes, into 3, that is into 3. So this is nothing but 37.5%. So if you solve this question, you'll get the answer is 37.5% straight, right? Now a lot of people ask me like whether we need to solve it this way or not. There are other ways also you can solve this type of question. Now see how any other way we can solve this question. Now think about this question in this way, like there is 42 liters, right? 42 liters is there. So isme what is the milk and water? So milk is, so the amount of milk is nothing but, that is 42 into 3 upon 7, which is 7 6 are 42, so that is 18 liter is the milk, right? And if 18 liter is the milk, so the remaining is water. So the remaining is what? Water, yes or no? Remaining is water. Now the total solutions become 42 plus 6 is 48. And in 48, what is the milk portion? That is 18. Okay? So 18 is milk in 48. So what is 18 out of 48 into 100? So if you want to do this, like first to just cancel this thing, that is 6 3s are 80, 3 upon 8. So your answer is 37.5%. So you can solve it this way also. Both ways are fine. In this way, what I have done, I just take the milk portion and take the total solution. So milk by total solution is your answer. That's it. So that's how we generally solve this type of question. Remember that two methods are very simple, and you can solve either of the methods to get the answer in this type of question. So what is our understanding? So in this kind of question, we can use directly the concept of mixture alligation, or else we can use also just to find like the amount of milk and find it manually as well. So both will give you the answer in 1 minute. Now 2 jars contain milk and water in the ratio 5:4 and 2:1 respectively. What volume should be taken out from the first jar if volume have to be taken out from the both jars as fill up a third 30-liter jar to milk water in the ratio 1:1? Now to solve this question, you need to understand one thing. In jar 1, that is J1, in jar 1, the milk proportion is 5/9. So what is the milk? That is 5/9, which is more than 50%, right? In jar 1, the proportion of milk is 5/9, which is more than 50%. In jar 2, the milk is 2/3. So 2/3 is also more than 50%, because 5/9 is something, 5/9 is something around 55.55%. And 2/3 is something around 66.67%. You don't need to find this, but still I'm showing you how we are doing this. Now I need to mix these two things to make a mixture where the milk has to be 50%, right? Because 1:1 is meaning what? That is 50% milk. Now think about it, somewhere I have 55.55% and somewhere I have 66.767%. Now by mixing these two things, we cannot have 50%, because I know the average is always between the smaller value and the higher value. So this is the least value, this is the highest value. So your average has to be in between this. So it is not possible by mixing these two things we can get milk 50%. So hence your answer is not possible. So a lot of questions, this kind of questions are very tricky question. You need to understand before solving. Like by just seeing that there's the milk proportion is more, so it is not possible to get a 1:1. So it is a one-liner question, but you need to understand it before solving this question. So sometime remember, like a lot of questions are not required to be solved. Just it needs your concept and idealization of the question to make it smarter, to make it easier for you to get the answer, right? Because CAT is not all about like your how good you are in maths. It's also how smart you are in. So you need to use your smartness and your common sense as well. So hook in with me. Next is certain quantity of water which equals to 10% of the volume of the solution of milk and water, and then 10% of the solution is removed. The ratio of water becomes 2:3. Find the ratio of milk to water, then original solution. Now think about it, certain quantity of water which equals to 10% of the volume of the solution of milk and water. Then 10% of the solution is removed, the ratio of milk to water becomes 2:3. So what I have said, when I am removing, there is no change in your solution. There is no change in your percentage, like quantity of your solution if I am removing something, right? Only if I am replacing, then there is a change. If I am adding, then there is a change. For addition, there is a change. For replacement, there is a change. Only for removal, there is no change in percentage. So please understand this thing carefully. So now they are saying 10% of solution is removed. So I don't need this thing. This is like not necessary for me. So certain quantity of water which equals 10% of the volume of the solution of milk and water. Certain quantity of water. Certain quantity of water which equals to the amount of the milk and water. Then the question is like a little bit like here. The question is if certain quantity of water which equals to 10% of the volume of the solution of milk and water is added. So here you need to write is added. Is added, and then 10% of the solution is removed. The ratio of milk to water becomes 2:3. Find the ratio of milk to water in the original solution. So the question is certain quantity of water which equals to 10% volume of the solution of milk and water is added, and then 10% solution is removed. The ratio of milk to water becomes 2:3. Find the ratio of milk to water in the original solution. That is the question. Now you need to understand one thing. It is 2/3. 2/3 is 40%, right? So 2/3 is 40%. So I can write, so now the resultant is 2/3. That is 2/5. So 2/2 plus 3 is basically 2/5, which is nothing but how much? 40%. So I get in the resultant solution, the amount of milk is 40%, right? So this is 40%. Understand it carefully, right? So the average is 40%, and the ratio is what? This is 100, this is 10. So 10% which equals 10% of the volume. So the ratio becomes 10:1, right? That is the ratio is 10:1. And I also know in case of water, In case of water, it is 0%. So in case of water, the amount of my milk is 0%, and this I need to find. Fair enough? So if you need to solve this question, there are two ways you can solve it. Okay? The first way, like take this is as x. So this is generally, this is 40 minus 0 is 40, and this is x minus 40, right? So I can write 40 upon x minus 40 is equal to, let's say, 10 upon 1, right? This is one kind of thing I can write, because this thing I'm getting 40, because 40 minus 0 is 40, and this is more, that is x minus 40 is x minus 40. And the ratio has to be what? 10 by 1. So if I solve this thing, I'll get 40 is equal to, let's say, 10x minus 400, or I could have directly subtracted this also. So if I solve this thing, so what we'll get? So 40 is basically x minus 40%, that's fine. So that is 40 is 10x minus 400, that is cool. So what is 10x? So 10x is equal to 440. So what is x? X is 44%. So I can see this is 44%, right? Now if it is 44%, so 44% is what? Milk. So if milk is 44%, so what is water? That is 56%. And I need to find the ratio. So 44 upon 56 is how much? That is 11 upon 14. So your answer is 11:14. But this is not the ideal way I can solve this question. I can solve this question much faster. Like how I can solve this question much faster? Now I'll show you. Now see this. How can I solve this question? So one thing I know, the ratio is 10:1. This thing you have already know, because 100%, 10%, the ratio becomes 10:1, right? Because of 100 and 10. And I know also the average is 40. I know this is 0. So do one thing first. I need to find this part. So 40 minus 0 is how much? 40. So if this is 40, this has to be 4, because the ratio should be 10:1. So if the ratio is 10:1, if I get 40 here, so this has to be 4, because 40:4 is same as 10:1. Now do this thing, add 40 plus 4. This is 44. So I can say 44 minus 40 is 4, and 40 minus 0 is 40, so the ratio is 10:1. So your answer you can get directly, the milk portion is 44%, water is 56%, and hence your answer is 11/14. So you can solve it directly. So this is like the smartest way to solve this question. I'm again making you understand how I did it. So what I did, I know the ratio is 10:1. So I know 40 is here, and 40 is here, 10:1 is here, and 0 is here, because there is no milk, so 0% milk. So now what I did, 40 minus 0 is 40. But the ratio should be 10:1. So if it is already 40, so in the ratio of 10:1, this has to be 4, because 10 into 4 is 40, 1 into 4 is 4. So if this is 40, so this minus 40 should be 4. So if I write like this, like x minus 40 should be 4. So what is x? 44. That's what exactly I did. So this is how you can solve this type of question, and this is much more interesting and fascinating way of solving a question. Remember, it is not only about whether you can solve it or not. It's also about how fast and how exactly you can solve this question, because timing is also a very important factor. So let's go for the next one. So a man sold a TV set and a washing machine for a total of 1,56,000 and made an overall gain of 30% on selling both. The profit on selling the TV set is 50% and the loss on washing machine is 10% respectively. Find the cost price of the washing machine and this. So think about this way. First, so you need to find like what is the cost price. If the selling price is 1,56,000, the selling price is 1,56,000, that is the selling price. Okay? The profit is 30% on CP. Okay? So what is cost price? The cost price I can write directly 156,000 into 100 upon 130 by using the multiplicative factor. Okay? So if I do this, like this 0 is cancelled out, 13, 156 is 12. So it will give me 1,20,000. So 1,20,000 is the cost price. So I'll get the cost price as 1,20,000. So how this thing comes, you will learn it in profit and loss. So please go through profit and loss to understand how exactly this thing works. Now they have said, एक में कितना profit है? 50% profit है. एक में कितना loss है? 10% loss है, so minus 10% है. और overall में क्या है? 30% profit है. Now by mixed alligation, I know what should be the ratio of the price. That is 50 minus 30 is 20. And 30 minus of minus 10, that is 30 minus of minus 10, it should be equal to 40. So what is the ratio? The ratio is 2:1. Now what I need to find the price of washing machine. So washing machine has 10% loss. Though the price of washing machine has to be 1,20,000 into 1 upon 2 plus 1, which is same as 40,000. So the price of washing machine is nothing but 40,000. So hence you can solve this question directly. So what is the price of washing machine? That is 40,000 straight. So you can see like how exactly we can solve this question very fast just by using mixed alligation method. So this question is basically using two concepts. One is a concept of profit loss, second is a concept of mixed alligation. And we can solve this question in a minute if you solve it like this way. So please understand my approach, because the approach is something which is important. Now the next question is, let's say two varieties of rice A and B are mixed in the ratio of 3:5 by weight. By selling the mixture at the price of dearer variety A, profit of 20% is made. The price of the dearer variety is 30 per kg, then find the price of the cheaper variety. So two varieties of rice A and B are mixed in the ratio of 3:5. So the ratio is A and B is given. So this is A, let's say this is B. So the ratio is given 3:5, right? By selling the mixture at the price of dearer variety, a profit of 20% is made. Okay? And if the price of the dearer variety is rupees 30 per kg, then what is the price of the cheaper price? Okay. So now what they are saying, like they are selling the mixture at the price of dearer variety A. So they are basically selling everything. So think about, they have 3 kg, 5 kg of B and 3 kg of A, right? By selling the mixture at the price of dearer variety A, and this is dearer one. So iska price ज़्यादा है, ठीक है? And a profit of 20% is made. So let's say अगर इसका 3 है और इसका 5 है, ठीक है? तो if you generally solve this type of question, तो इसको और इसको total बेचने के बाद he is making a 20% profit. तो अगर, so let's think about this way. If the price, like the price of this is let's say X and the price of this is Y, let's say. So I'm selling, so what is my cost price? The cost price is 3X plus 5Y. That is my cost price, right? This is my cost price. Clear? Now what is my profit? The profit is 20%. So what is the selling price into 1.2? So that is actually the selling price. Now this thing is also equal to, so this thing is also equal to what? This thing is also equal to like the 8X. Because I'm selling everything in the price of X, right? So 8X. So from this thing, we can say 8X equals to 3X plus 5Y into 1.2. Yes or no? Now if I put the value of X as 30, so this is what? That is 240 is equal to 90 into 1.2. And this is plus 6Y, right? So what is Y? Then Y is nothing but 240 minus 9 into 12 is 108 by 6. So this is 240 minus 108 kitna hota hai? That is like, let's say 132 upon 6, which is nothing but 22. So what is the price? The price is 22. So the price of the cheaper variety is 22. So this is the one way of solving this question. This is a generic method of solving this question. Now how else we can solve this question? Let's check. Now if you see this thing, like A and B is there, so I know one thing, like I know the selling price, I know the cost price, so everything. So now I'm using the concept of profit loss to solve this question, okay? So now this is A, this is B variety, right? What is the ratio? Let's say this is 3 quantity, this is 5 quantity. So the price of this is 30 per kg. 30 per kg, right? So if then what is my selling price? The selling price is 30 into 8 is equal to 240. Because the selling price is 30 per kg and that is also the cost price of A. So 240 is my selling price. That is fine. Now if selling price is 240, what is cost price? By using the method of base change, the cost price is 240 into, that is 100 upon 120. That is the cost price. So the cost price is nothing but 200. So 200 is the cost price. So A's cost price is how much? So 200 is the total cost price. So total cost price is 200. That is like A plus B. So what is the cost price for A product? That is 90. 3 into that is 90 is the cost price of A product. So this is 110 is the cost price of B product for 5 kg. So for each kg it has to be 22. So 110 for 5 kg, for each kg it has to be 22. So you can solve this question in one line also. Now you have seen how I solve this question. First I find the selling price. From selling price I find the cost price. Now if you are finding difficulty to find the cost price in this way, you also think about cost price plus 20 by 100 into cost price is equal to selling price 240. Now if you solve this thing, you'll get CP plus CP by 5 is equal to 240, and I can find CP is equal to 240 into 5 by 6, so which is 200. So in this way also you can find, but this is much more easier and smarter method to solve this question. So what is the cost price? The cost price is nothing but 22 for the variety B, like the cheaper variety. So this is how you can solve this type of questions. Very important, obviously. Now this is a very important question. An ice cream is made by mixing elaichi and pista flavored creams. The 55-gallon container is mistakenly filled in such a way that it has 6% elaichi flavored cream. How many gallons must be removed and then replaced with a mixture containing 50% elaichi cream so that the resulting mixture is 10% elaichi cream? So now don't think about it as a removal replacement, take it, because I know if it is removed, there is no change. So one thing I know about this, it has 6%. So if I solve this thing, so it has how much? It has basically, let's say 6%. So it has 6%, initially it has 6%. And when it is like mixture containing 50% elaichi, so it is 50% also, right? So it is 60%, it's 50%, but the average has to be 10%. So what is the ratio? First to find the ratio. So think about the 6% is there and the 50% is there, but you need to get a 10% overall. So what is the ratio? The ratio is, this is 6 minus 10, that is 10 minus 6, that is 4. This is 40. So the ratio is nothing but 10:1. So I can find one thing. If I need to mix 6% and 50% in the ratio 10:1, the resultant solution should have 10% of elaichi. Now think about if it is a 10% of elaichi and the ratio should be 10:1, right? So one thing I can say, like the total is 55 kg. Yes or no? And let's say this portion is 10x and this portion is x. So I can say 10x plus x, it has to be 55 kg because it is removed and replaced. So there is no change in the total volume. So total volume is 55 kg. So from this thing I can write 11x equals to 55. So I can say x is equal to 5. Now if x is equal to 5, that means I removed 5 kg, I removed 5 gallon of, not kg, 5 gallon of 6% elaichi flavored ice cream, then I replace with 5 gallons of 50% elaichi ice cream. So hence your answer has to be 5. So I hope you have understood how to solve this type of question. So this is not exactly a question based on removal replacement, but the concept is involved, but you don't need to worry about removal replacement, right? So let's go for like the last question of this session. Like Ayan mixes the variety of tea costing rupees 20 per kg, 30 per kg and rupees 24 per kg and sells it at rupees 30 per kg, making a profit of 20%. The mixture contains 1 kg of the first variety, then the quantity of the second and third variety can never be what? Can never be what pucha hai, right? So to solve this question, the easiest way, like 30 per kg is the profit of 20%. So what is that? This is the selling price. So selling price is 30. So if you need to find the cost price, so the cost price is 30 into 100 upon 120. Right? That is the cost price. So it will become how much? That is like 24, I guess. 0, 0 gets cancelled out. 3 and 4, that is 25. So 25 is your cost price. So if I see 25 is my cost price, and let's say this one is 1 kg, this one is let's say x, and this one is let's say y, right? So if I have 1 x and y, so the total, what is the average? The average is 20 into 1 plus 30 into x plus 24, plus 24 into y whole divided by 1 plus x plus y. This should be 25. So I can solve this thing also just by doing this, that is 20 plus 30x plus 24y is equal to 25 plus 25x plus 25y. Now if I solve this thing directly, so I'll get the answer is like 5x minus y is equal to 5, assuming my calculations are correct. Now you need to check which one is not following this. Now if I put 2 and 5, let's say I'm giving you an example. So if I put 5 into 2 minus 5, what is it? 5. That means this 2 and 5 is satisfying. So just put option D, because these two things I think it will be satisfying. So just put option D. So if I put option D, that is 5 into 7 minus 20. So this is 35 minus 20, which is 15. So it is not same as 5. So hence this is your answer, option D. So this is how you can solve this type of question. So this question includes the concept of mixture alligation with linear equation. So I hope you have understood like the base of mixture alligation. We have done so many different questions. I hope you have enjoyed it a lot. Please like and comment us. Please comment me like whatever else you want to do, or what any questions you want to have, like you can also ask me, or also you can suggest me what kind of videos you want to see from me. So see you guys in the next video.